Today on Bill and Frank's Guilt-Free Pleasures, we are outside of the box, figuratively and literally. We're talking about a current song, we're talking about a popular song, and we are not in the Winchester, which is the box that we recorded. I mean, we're in a different box, but, we're outside our usual box.
You are correct on all counts. Sometimes the most popular song is a guilt-free pleasure.
Well, yeah, I mean, if it's popular and you don't feel guilty listening to it, that is the very definition of guilt-free, right? So we're casting a pretty wide net here. And I think also outside of the box is we have a guest for the episode today.
That's correct. Because we are doing Harry Styles today, and in particular, Harry's House, his latest album, and in particular, we're doing As It Was and two other songs from the album. We didn't want to come in here looking dumb. So I asked the one person I knew who would be a Harry Styles superfan. I know this because I'm friends with her father, Luke, and I remember when he said, you know what, Ella's really into Harry Styles. I said, who's Harry Styles? He goes, yeah, One Direction. Oh, she's into One Direction? No, she's only into Harry Styles. I'm like, I don't get it. He goes, I don't know. She really likes Harry Styles. I'm like, whatever. This is me just a few years ago saying these sorts of things.
Yeah.
Whatever. I didn't think it was a big deal. And then I heard As It Was on like the adult contemporary radio. And I said, holy cow, this is amazing. And I knew we needed to do this song, and I knew we needed to talk to Ella. So welcome to the podcast, Ella.
Hi, guys.
Would you like to tell us a little more about yourself?
Yeah, so I am 16. I'm going into grade 11. And I started liking Harry Styles in quarantine when there was nothing else to do other than find new artists to listen to.
I mean, I think you spent your time fairly well during the quarantine, so good for you.
It all led to this moment.
It did.
I got really big into Pokemon. Is that a thing still? I don't know.
Pokemon Go?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I'm trying to be young again here. I don't understand this.
Perfect. Well, that is one of the themes that comes out of this song.
Yeah.
Okay, before we get to the song, we better talk about the history of Harry Styles. I know I tried to figure this out, and then I thought, Ella's going to give us all this info anyways. So, Ella, do we start with the X Factor, or are you going to go through a couple generations earlier?
Not a couple generations, but I'm going to go through a little. So, he was born in Holmes Chapel, and with his sister, Gemma, who's older than him, and his mom, Anne. And then his father, who got divorced with Anne, and then his stepfather, Robin. So he was in a band called the White Eskimos previously to the X Factor. And then one day he was like, okay, I think I'm a pretty good singer. I'm going to go try it out, see what happens. So he went on to the X Factor and sang pretty good. All of the One Direction boys' X Factor tapes, I personally as a judge would not have said yes to any of them. But they did.
You are harsher than, what's his name? That Simon Cowell guy.
Honestly, there's much better singers out there at the time. They've all improved vastly, but at the time it was different.
Can I ask you, would you say that Michael Bolton would be a better singer than them at that time?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, they were 16. They were hitting puberty. Anyways, so then they got through the next round, all 5 of the boys. And they continued until, for whatever reason, all 5 of them got eliminated from the running of who's going to win X Factor. And then at this point, Simon Cowell and whoever else was on the judging panel was like, oh my goodness, no, these boys are too good for us to eliminate all 5 of them. So they decided to put them all into one band. And they said, you guys are going to be a band. And they're all crying and upset that they got eliminated. And then they got formed into this band, One Direction, and they went through the whole X Factor, and they ended up coming 3rd. But by then, they had already created such a following that it didn't even matter what place they came in, that they were already so big in the world that coming out of the X Factor, they had their entire careers laid out for them. So that was in 2010, and then they released 5 albums.
That's a lot of albums because
yeah,
When did they kind of break up?
2016.
So that's like an album a year.
Yeah,
That's
it was
crazy.
an album a year. It was like very overproduced. They never got a break. That's a whole other thing, but it was very, very harsh. And
That's when we get you back on the podcast when we do our One Direction.
One Direction. One
episode.
Direction reunites.
Yeah,
We'll talk again.
Yeah.
Yeah. So then after One Direction went on their quote unquote hiatus, which they were like, oh, we're going to be back. It's been like a lot of years. But anyways, so then Harry decided to branch out. He released his first single, Sign of the Times. And then his first album got released, second album, and third album. And now here we are.
Well, that is an excellent history.
Nice little recap there.
Yeah. I will put in the show notes the X Factor auditions.
Oh, okay. Nice.
Where did he work before he was on the X Factor?
He worked at a bakery.
Now, do you think that his obsession with food comes from working at a bakery?
I don't know.
Okay.
I feel like it could be related, but it could also just be that lots of people love food.
Okay, well, he certainly does.
Well, and you need food to survive. So,
True.
right, so
Which leads us to the first song on the album. We're not going to spend a lot of time on it, but I want to talk about it because it's so awesome. To me, I realize I might be the only person who loves it. Every podcast and article I read kind of,
thumbs their nose at it.
yeah, thumbs their nose at it. I think it's fantastic. Music for a sushi restaurant. Starts off super cool. Not sure if it's a backwards playing guitar. Not sure if it's John Mayer, actually. Apparently he plays guitar on a lot of these tracks.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Ella, do you know that?
I actually didn't.
Yes. Okay.
He knows more than me.
Deep research going on here. Okay, so there's a couple things I want to talk about for the music from a sushi restaurant. I just love the quirkiness of the song. It's hard to imitate it, so I'm just going to play it here. Okay, so I just played a part there. Frank, you tell me what you heard.
So early on, there's the ba, ba, ba. As soon as I heard that, the very first time, it's just like, that's Marvin Gaye and Tammy Tyrell. You're All I Need. That sort of sets the stage for the rest of the song, and I love that opening. That it's not exactly it, but it's so very reminiscent of.
To start an album this way feels so bold to me.
Yes.
And then it sets the tone for the album. And it's the horn breaks. I think they're synth horns.
Yeah.
But they bring us right back to 1986, like that era of the synth. So they talked in one podcast I listened to where they talked about the sledgehammer horns. So on Peter Gabriel's Sledgehammer, these are the horns. So let me just play it here. There it is.
Yeah.
My favorite part of the whole song.
Yeah, that's so good.
I'm enjoying how excited you guys are about this song.
Oh, man.
It's
I love
good.
Yeah. There's so many things happening here.
It's so
good.
So much to talk about. So the horns are incredible.
Yeah.
I'm going to be referring back to these horns later. I just want you to remember them.
Yep.
You heard a bunch of other artists in there. What did you hear from?
There's so much happening in there. So the bass line is reminiscent of Paul Simon's Graceland album. And then there's Prince. There's definitely Prince in there.
Yeah.
Prince, or at the very least, Janelle Monáe.
Oh, nice. Good call.
And then they get back into that you're all I like, that sort of thing with the Marvin Gaye. There's so much happening. There's so much 80s just smashed in there. It's so good.
He's got so much guts, or is it moxie?
I like Moxie.
Okay.
It just sounds cooler.
I agree.
Yeah, moxie. Yeah. Okay. He's got some moxie to scat.
Yeah.
You know, this is like, he's coming from One Direction, boy band. You know, he's much more than all those things, of course. but to throw down a scat is crazy. So this is a rarity. Ashley yesterday agreed to listen to this song.
What?
Yeah, I know.
Boy.
She has yet to listen to a podcast episode. That's fine. But she listened to this song and I said, what do you think about the scatting? Because this scatting was made fun of on like everything I've read. Yeah. I mean, I only read about 5 things, but they made fun of it.
Yeah.
And Ashley's like, no, that's fine. That's good. That's what scatting is. And I thought it was super fun.
Yeah.
And he gets what he's doing. Mm-hmm. He doesn't need to be Ella Fitzgerald or the guy who plays the horn. Louis Armstrong. That's who I'm thinking of. He doesn't need to be either of those 2 people.
That Louis guy that plays the horn.
That's right. Wonderful World. That guy did the Wonderful World song. I don't know what else he did. Anyways.
I'm glad that you guys mentioned all of those different people like influencing into the one song that you heard, because I have a point when talking about like what each album means or why it was produced or his intentions behind the album. And one of my main points is that this album, I feel like, was very targeted towards not what he was trying to make other people like, but it was like surrounded around the music he likes to listen to.
Yeah.
And it was like, oh, I'm Harry Styles. I love listening to this music, so I'm going to create music like it. Like he got inspiration, I think, a lot more for this one. And it was more about producing something he liked to listen to rather than like, oh, these teenage girls are going to like to listen to it.
Bingo.
We didn't even really talk about, and you were mentioning the horns are very Peter Gabriel from Sledgehammer, right? So, I mean, there are at least 4 different musical sort of influences that we can pick out from this song, and they're all done well, right?
So the criticism I heard on is an NPR show. Like,
well, NPR is wrong.
Yeah, of course. And they're like, okay, well, there's other people like Olivia. I was going to say Olivia Wilde. It's
Rodrigo?
What's the, well, that's it. Olivia Rodrigo and Dua Lipa. And they said they're making music that's kind of pushing things forward. But he's kind of, they didn't say resting on his laurels, but he's doing something else.
But wasn't that music better? Like, everyone's always like, oh, this new music is trash. It's so bad. It's so bad. And then when someone produces music that sounds like the stuff that everyone used to listen to, they're like, oh, why are they not making music go forward? That's just
I am loving right now that there's a 16-year-old saying that the music that we used to listen to is so much better than the stuff that's coming out now.
This is why we're doing Harry Style today, because he is bringing it back and taking the music we love, and he's pushing it forward. And Rolling Stone said what Harry Styles is doing is he's bending the music listening culture to his will, saying, I want you to hear this. So I'm going to give you music from the aughts. I'm going to give you music from the 70s. I'm going to give you yacht rock. I'm going to give you all these things. Mm-hmm. And we love it because it's great.
Yeah, and a crotchety old man like myself is getting behind this. So this is pretty good.
The thing I'm excited for is that when I'm like, oh, my favorite song is this song. Someone's like, oh, who's it by? I'm like, Harry Styles. They go, oh. I'm like, he's so popular, he's so big, and just because you think a bunch of 16-year-old girls like to listen to him, they write him off completely. And it's like, I enjoy that people who are older and people who are men are enjoying it, because I often play music, Harry Styles music at my work. I'm like, oh, I'm just gonna slip this into the playlist for the day. And someone will be like, oh, I really like this song. I'm like, oh yeah, it's Harry Styles. And they're like, oh. I'm like, so you don't like the song anymore then? Because then it's just like, you know what I mean? It's a stigma against his name. And now he's rising above that, I think.
Yeah, exactly. Older, cool men like Bill and myself like this music.
Yeah.
There's no need to be ashamed. Harry Styles is awesome. Yeah. And in particular, this album. Now, Ella, we know this because we talked beforehand. You prefer the 2 previous albums. Is that
Correct.
True? That's
yes.
true. I think this album really appeals to, what am I trying to say here? Old people. Old people?
Demographic?
A different demographic.
An older demographic.
An older demographic. Well, we know he is a avid record collector.
Correct.
And so if you were to go through the records that he's collecting, you can see all these influences.
And even like seeing his outfits and how he poses for shoots and just everything about him, he's very influenced by the people of his past, like Freddie Mercury and people like that, like the big names. He's very, you can be like, oh, look, he's acting like Mick Jagger there. He's acting like Freddie Mercury there. He's dressing like this person. He's singing like this person. And it's all, I feel like, a bunch of really awesome artists put into one because of what he was grown up listening to.
I couldn't say that better. So there is Songs for a Sushi Restaurant. We talked about that. The current single, when we recorded this, I don't know when this will be a single for a while, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Late Night Talking. My son loves this song. My son, of course, is 3 years old, and he's been humming this to himself during bath time. And I realized I've been listening to the album, but he chooses this as his favorite.
Good for him. He's got good taste.
Yep. Ashley also said, this is good. This is very catchy.
Things haven't been quite the same. There's a haze on the horizon, babe. It's only been a couple of days and I miss you. Yeah.
It starts off, it sounds a little distorted, right? And Ella, you were saying it's like a record being played like at the wrong speed, right? Like
yeah. I have one Taylor Swift album on record, and it's the album Red. And when you play it at the size of the record, it's supposed to be played at a certain speed.
33.
But yeah, it's supposed to be played at 33, but it's doesn't. So it sounds wrong when you play it. It's all like distorted and weird, sounds like slow. And so I had to search it up because I thought my record was broken when I bought it. And I was like, what is going on? So you have to play it at 45. But it almost sounds like in Late Night Talking. It's like a little bit at the wrong speed on the record player. You put the wrong setting on.
Yeah, it just seems a little bit like the music seems slow, like you're running through water or something, right?
Yeah.
But then like I picked up like right off the hop musically, not like if you take out the lyrics of Late Night Talking and you take out the lyrics of Tacos Putting on the Ritz and you play them side by side, I'm hearing definite similarities between the two. I could be completely wrong. I'm out of my element here because I'm not where we usually are recording this, so I'm a little bit confused and scared, but this is what I'm hearing.
If you're blue and you don't know where to go to, why don't you go where fashion sits? Putting on the Ritz.
I've never been a fan of change, but I'd follow you to any place. If it's Hollywood or Bishopsgate, I'm coming too.
The video for this just came out. We were recording this in August. It just came out a few weeks ago. Ella, you're a big fan of the video, and you have lots to tell us about.
I do.
Okay, let's hear it.
Okay, so if you've watched the video, it starts out Harry's in a bed, and he wakes up, and he's like looking around. He's trying to find someone in the bed, I guess, and there's no one there except himself. And he goes through the song, and he's like under the covers, and then he's in a bed with like 20 other people. And they're all like around each other. And then it continues and he's being observed as if he's a piece of art. And he's in a bed with a woman and there's people around him taking photos and whispering and gossiping and whatever. And then it continues and he's in a dark hotel room and or not hotel room, but he's in an area and it's very dark, pitch black. And he's eating pasta with a man on a date, it seems to be. And then he is all of a sudden in the opera and there's this massive spotlight on him and another woman in a bed with him. I think it's showing how he feels about how looked on his relationships are to the public. Like every time, he said in an interview once, every time he's out on a walk with one of his friends, if they happen to be a girl, they're dating. Everyone thinks they're dating. If he's out for dinner, if he's seen ever, he's always, oh, are they together? Are they dating? Are they dating? And everything he does with other people that aren't necessarily like, oh, they're just friends. Like, we know that they've been friends. It's automatically assumed that he's dating. And it's like, I think it was showing how he feels like he's under a microscope when it comes to his relationships and showing kind of how he has to hide part of himself because he's always under a microscope.
That's great analysis. Yeah. It's kind of funny because that sounds totally true from what I can see, but also the song is clearly about Olivia Wilde. It's just like, we talk at night on the phone. We're late night talking.
Yeah.
And I love you so much.
Yeah.
So it is kind of like...
Yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah.
Because lots of people are like, oh, they're together for real. Lots of people are like, oh, it's a PR move. A lot of people are always like, oh, it's PR about everyone's relationships. Everyone's half thinks it's real, half thinks it's fake. but it just kind of puts the contrast where it's like his music video kind of doesn't really relate all that much to the song, which is interesting because when I watched the music video, I was like, okay, they're in pajamas, they're late night talking with people, but I feel like there's such a deeper meaning to the music video and not so much as a deeper meaning to the song.
Yeah, that's fair. Because when I go through the lyrics, like, okay, yeah, he's calling his girlfriend.
He's talking with someone.
Yeah, pillow talking.
Yeah.
I'm just assuming he's actually just on the phone in
Yeah.
a hotel room somewhere.
Because you would think that he would just be laying on a bed talking on a phone for a music video, but it's just, there were so many like aspects to it that you could pick apart in the music video that I think you couldn't in the song. So I'm not really sure what he was trying to portray with that, but
It was certainly fun.
Yeah.
Like he has fun in his videos.
he does. It was a good video. It's fun to watch.
If you're feeling down, I just wanna make you happier, baby. Wish I was around, I just wanna make you happier, baby. We've been doing all this late night talking about anything you wanna till the morning. Now you're in my life, I can't get you off my mind.
It's time to talk about As It Was. So it opens with a phone call.
Yes.
And so Ella, tell us about this phone call, please.
So it says, Harry, come on, Harry, we want to say goodnight to you. And it's his goddaughter calling him and was like, hey, like, come on, bro, like, don't go to bed. Like, I think it plays into the song a lot because he's talked a lot about how his family and stuff, he's drifted from them as he's become more famous. He hasn't been able to go to parties and the same things he used to be. So it wasn't the same as it was. And I think it kind of shows a bit of like an insight into, oh, like, come on, Harry, like, we still want to say goodnight to you. Even though you're famous, even though you're busy, even though you can't come to our parties, we still want to be a part of your life type thing.
Yep.
I feel like that was kind of what he was trying to do with putting it in there to like start the song off with a look at someone who's trying to talk to me.
And apparently he calls her every night.
Yeah,
and he
I saw
missed
that.
one night, and this was when she called him. And so while they're working on this song in the studio, he just put it on, and they liked it and put it in.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. Harry Styles is a good dude.
He's
He's his goddaughter every night.
Every night.
Yeah.
That's kind of awesome.
Yeah, I should call my goddaughter.
You have a goddaughter?
Well, she's 20. She doesn't really need me to call her. But
You never
That'd
know.
be weird, right?
this is the last song he also wrote for the album.
Okay.
So this, even though it's the first single, it kind of sets the tone for a lot of what we're going to hear in terms of this is the first thing released.
Mhm.
This is the last song written. So should we work through the lyrics?
Yeah, I just want to say there's a huge theme about the last song being written, and it comes out as the first single.
Yeah.
Sometimes
It
like
happens a lot.
Yeah, you get through the whole album process, and maybe you're a little beat down by everything, but you have that like last sort of like flash of inspiration, and a awesome song comes out.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Like we just talked the other week about Corey Hart, Sunglasses at Night, same thing, right? And I know we've talked about it on a number of other albums and songs that we've done as well, but it's kind of amazing to see how that happens sometimes.
Right, in the process. Like, I mean, in the end, he is, with writing this, it is culminating all the stuff that's on this album.
Yeah.
Okay. Ella, you've already mentioned to us before we started recording that Harry seems to be reticent about really saying what the meaning is of his songs.
Yes, he never really tells us. He's always like, you do think of it and you can figure it out. And if you figure it out and you think that's what it is, sure.
Classic cop-out.
Yeah.
As an English major, it really angered me when someone says, no, the poem is yours. Like, no, it's not. You wrote it.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you now what it means.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
So, Harry, we're going to tell you what your song means right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So after we get the call from the goddaughter and then
Mhm.
do 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 do. That's exactly how it sounds.
There
That sounds a lot better.
you
Much
go.
better.
Holding me back. Gravity's holding me back. I want you to hold out the palm of your hand. Why don't we leave it at that?
Holding me back, gravity's holding me back. I want you to hold out the palm of your hand. Why don't we leave it at that?
Okay. I have issue with the first lines.
Okay.
Gravity holds us down. It doesn't hold us back.
Oh boy.
So I'm a literalist.
issue.
So you know what, Harry? I'm going to give you a pass because the song is pretty awesome. But yeah, just next time you're referencing gravity in a song.
I think throughout the song we'll get more into it, but I personally think this song is about his childhood and his relationship with his sister and his family. So I feel like with the holding me back and gravity's holding me back, I think it's less gravity of the earth, like you said, it's as a literalist, but more like the gravity of the pressure between them as siblings, kind of.
So the gravity of the situation is what you're saying.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's holding him back from
Their relationship.
relationship. Okay.
They're
Also, I don't like to be shown up by a 16-year-old on my podcast.
Sorry.
But no, as soon as I said my literal gravity comment, I'm just like, no, maybe it's the gravity of the situation, Frank. Like, think about things. Again, I'm outside the box right now, and I'm not comfortable.
Not in your comfort zone.
No, not at all.
Okay. All right. So next lines. Nothing to say when everything gets in the way. Seems you cannot be replaced, and I'm the one who will stay.
Nothing to say when everything gets in the way. Seems you cannot be replaced, and I'm the one who will stay.
I've avoided hearing much of what he's got to say because I didn't want him to get in the way of what the true meaning is, which is what I wanted it to be. So I'm like, no, this is about Olivia Wilde. That's right. I'm just kidding. It's a relationship in general. But so what is being replaced? I'm thinking of a relationship. Ellie, you're thinking sibling.
Right. And remember when I was giving the history and I was like, oh, his dad and his mom got divorced? Well, his dad kind of like left them. And so I think that it has something to do with his relationship with his sister and Gemma and how the gravity of his father leaving him, like, he can't be replaced. And, like, that gravity of the situation is kind of tearing him apart from his family a little bit. Like, it's not the same as it was because they were so close as a family. They were a tight, close family, and then it kind of got pulled apart. As you'll see in the music video, they're, like, reaching for each other.
Right.
And they're trying to reach for each other, but they're spinning and they can't reach for each other. And it's, like, kind of, they're being pulled apart. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
A little bit?
Yeah. So that takes us to in this world, it's just us. You know it's not the same as it was. And he repeats that. And again.
How I was thinking in this world, it's not like the universe. It's like in their bubble of a family. They're like, we got to stick together. It's just us. We can get through this together as siblings.
Okay. Huh. And I was thinking like in a relationship where it's just us and you have that sense of being in a world, you look at the world around you, but it's really just you and the other person. Yeah. That's how it feels anyways. But there's also this thing about, you know, it's not the same as it was, is this sort of sad statement.
Yeah. Well, I mean, every single relationship evolves and changes over time, right? And, you know, maybe he's looking back at a better time or whatever. But like Ella was saying with the whole family thing and the dynamic with Harry, especially as he became more and more popular and famous and everything, it's, you know, it's not the same. Like, I want to be like the same person that I was, but it's not the same because this is how everything has changed in this life.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. Gee,
right?
Both of you, solid analysis. I'm starting to feel like I'm going to have to just go with this whole sibling thing.
What I really like about the chorus, though, if we can chat about this just a little bit, is, you know, there's the, like, don't bore us, get to the chorus. And the chorus is the part that really, really pops, right?
Yeah.
What I like about this is it's not that he doesn't go for it, but it's reserved enough, right?
Yes.
He doesn't go over the top and make it this bigger thing than it needs to be. There's a reservation in the chorus and the way that he sings it. It works so well with the song and it just feels so comfortable.
Right.
Yeah. And the next little area too, it's really deep. And I feel like I know where you're going with you were like, remember the ringing the bell part?
Mm-hmm.
With the bells in the background.
Yeah.
It comes back into this next line.
Okay, here we go. So, answer the phone. Harry, you're no good alone. Why are you sitting at home on the floor? What kind of pills are you on? Ringing the bell, and nobody's coming to help. Your daddy lives by himself. He just wants to know that you're well.
Answer the phone. Harry, you're no good alone. Why are you sitting knows who you want. Ringing the bell, and nobody's coming to help. Your daddy lives by himself. He just wants to know that you're well.
Recently, because his stepdad did pass away, Robin, his dad, biological dad, has been coming more into his life. And it says he just wants to know that you're well. So he's like talking about his dad who caused all this things that made it not the same. And then he's like, your dad wants to make sure you're okay. And for the reason that you were like, oh, it's about a relationship. The only reason I would think that, because it could be very well about like a relationship. It's different. I just feel like it's very not a nice thing to be like, if you're calling someone, you're like, Harry, you're no good alone. In a relationship, it's kind of like, okay, like I'm breaking up with you. You're not a very good girlfriend if you're telling me that I'm not good on my own. Like I can't be, do you know what I mean?
Nice try, Ella. He's still with Olivia.
No, I'm just saying in the mention of this song,
Yeah.
I think that if it was as a sibling, it's like, Harry, like you're not good alone. You need to be around other people.
Yeah.
Less of like,
Yeah,
you know what I mean? The different ways you can
that makes
say
perfect
it.
sense. And especially rock stars where it's like, no, you don't need to be alone. This and family looking out for you. They know where you're coming from and who you are.
Yeah.
Which is, I'm sure, the battle he has where everyone wants to be his friend. We have that too with what's going on with this podcast.
Yeah.
Right. You're just so famous.
Yeah. We have to, know.
We have tens of people asking us.
Yeah.
Tag.
Are you guys still doing the podcast?
Yeah. So we still have to check ourselves before we wreck ourselves.
Exactly.
Yeah. So, okay, that takes us to, they got the chorus, but then there's the bridgy part here, which is a spoken word. Go home, get ahead, light speed internet. I don't want to talk about the way it was. Leave America, 2 kids follow her.
I know where you're going with this.
You know where I'm
I know
going.
exactly what you're going to say.
I don't want to talk about who's doing it first. Listen, this is Olivia Wilde.
No,
She's
it's
got
not.
2 kids. She's got 2 kids.
So?
Leave
And
America.
she's American.
I don't want to talk about who's doing it first. This is about the breakup with Ted Lasso.
Oh, with Jason
Okay.
Sudeikis.
That's
That
right.
actually makes a little bit of
Yeah,
sense.
yeah.
It does make sense.
No,
But-
January 2021.
Yes. But it could also be, say, the siblings, 2 kids follow her, being Anne, Harry's mother. The 2 kids are him and his sister.
Were they in America?
It could be figurative.
Point.
America could be the place that it's like uncomfortable and not like home, which
Okay, if we're scoring this lyrical breakdown, I give 2 points to Ella for the verses, 1 point to Bill for the bridge.
Thank you very much. Sorry,
you
Ella,
only
you're
have
still in the
one.
lead.
You're losing.
It's okay.
Yeah.
I got some work to do.
I guess it could be about Olivia Wilde.
It could be. Well, songs are often, and this is where
Could be about many things.
I always want it to be about one thing, but it's often about many things.
Yeah.
And especially with the modern era of like they'll just hit a lot of different things.
It could be like first verse where it's like gravity's holding me back. Could be about his fame. Then there's it's not the same as it was. And then the next one could be about his family. And then it's not the same as it was. And then the next one could be about his relationship. And then it's, you know what I mean? Like each different verse.
Does Ella still get points for this? Because I feel like this is giving me something. Could you take a half point from her and give 1.5 point to
No, now
No,
I have 2.5.
I would take half a point from you and give it to Ella.
Oh my goodness. Okay. Well, let's okay.
Do you know what I mean though? Like
Yeah,
he's
I
like
do.
saying all the different points of his life where everything's changing.
Yep. Then that makes perfect sense. Now the music video is really good.
I liked it.
Directed by a Ukrainian director who said like I think day 2 into the shoot was when the invasion occurred and all that. So, but beyond that, the video is really good. Although it gets weird for me later, we'll bring it up. But can we give a bit synopsis somehow? Can you give a synopsis of what we're watching in that video?
I'm gonna be honest, this is a hard one for me because there's a lot going on. It goes all over the place a little bit. And I think that kind of also fits the vibe of what we were just saying about how it's about a bunch of different things. It's like, oh, he's like spinning on a circle with a girl and they're like away from each other. They can't quite reach each other because they're spinning and spinning.
Yeah.
That could be about something different. And then he's like on a bridge with a bunch of people wearing like that red coat.
Yeah.
That's when he sings the line, what kind of pills are you on? That could be about something different. I feel like the music video kind of had a lot of different points to it.
Yeah.
I'm not
Yeah.
really sure what they all meant,
either way, he can't connect with the person there. So originally their hands touch and then they go apart.
Mm-hmm.
The aerobics is fantastic, or whatever is going on with that. Like, I'm curious how many times I had to shoot the video where they're running on that thing that's spinning.
Yeah.
And then when they're apart from each other, the ground's kind of shifting.
Yeah.
I think they put a table over top of them or something, like they can't get near each other.
Yeah.
And so
it's about being separated by someone you're trying to get to.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And like everything around you is like the spinning, it's like chaos. It's like they're trying to reach each other amidst the chaos, and they can't.
So this is what disappoints me in the video. By the end, they're like, just kidding. He's really happy alone. And then he starts doing this like dance routine and he's jumping, he's smiling, he's opening things like, no, stay in the pathos. I want to feel that pain.
But could that not be just the evolution of his own life? Like he's, it's not the same as it was, but this is the person that I am now, and I'm happy with who I am now too, right?
Yeah, it could
Great.
be a journey.
Oh,
He's
great.
like going through his all different.
Bill, you got 0
of his
points on
life.
this video
He just
analysis.
took another point from you.
I'm losing points. I'm bleeding out points.
Yeah.
Okay, good analysis, you two.
You got to go for the
Very
knockout in
good.
the final round here, Bill.
Okay, I'm going to concede right now, but I'm going to come back later because I got a killer mixtape at some
Okay.
point.
Okay.
Now, what is your favorite part of As It Was? What's your favorite part of the song?
Ella, do you want to go first?
Sure. My favorite part is the very beginning, the like leading notes, the ba-da-ba-da-ba-ba-ba-ba-da-da-da.
Yeah, okay.
That's my favorite
good.
part. That's it.
Okay.
I love it. It's really good. I think it's like a good hook, gets you in there. You're like, oh,
Totally.
this is gonna be so good.
Yep.
And then you listen and it is so good. It's a good start.
It's perfect. That's well said. I can't say it better.
Come on, Harry, we want to say goodnight to you.
Initially, I was going to say the chorus, right? Like I said, I like how it's reserved, but it just makes you feel comfortable. But then listening to it again right before we started this episode, you hear the bells at the end, right? I don't know why I never paid attention to them until this one time. And it just sounds so comfortable, but still so big, right? It sounds like it came from a Christmas song. And I don't know, I love the way those bells worked there.
As it was, you know it's not the same as it was, as it was.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. The bells hit really strong for me when I listened to it. And also the As It Was repeating is hypnotic to me.
Yes.
It's just a beautiful,
Yeah.
I saw online,
I
there's
could
like,
fall asleep to it, I think.
yeah,
Yeah.
someone posted 10 hours of As It Was.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I could do that. Yeah, this is fine with me.
It's like that song that you get in your head and then like it's like 2 months later and you're like, oh wait, it's back in my head again. Like it left your head for a minute. Like it's very there. It doesn't go away.
And that's why we're doing this song, because even though by the time this comes out, I mean, it may not be number one, it keeps jumping back to number one in the
Yeah.
States. Like it was number one, then went to number two and back to number one,
Yeah.
which isn't pretty rare,
Yeah.
I think, anyways, from what I gathered. But it is an earworm. But I don't like the term earworm because I don't want a worm in my ear.
No one does.
It's then like an ear ring.
Earrings are pretty though.
They ring in your ear, but in a good way.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You're
that didn't work.
losing on points, and
man.
you're about to
Bleeding.
get knocked
You're
out
in
here.
negative.
Bill.
You're negative
all right,
points.
all right. Let's try some more things.
Your corner's
here.
about to throw in the towel.
Okay.
In this world, it's just us. You know it's not the same as it was. In this world, it's just us. You know it's not the same as it was. As it was. As it was. You know it's not the same.
Okay, let's move on to some other things here. This is kind of like categories.
Yep.
So I want to come up with a list of things that aren't the same as it was. So I'm going to start. Let's see if
Oh,
you can think
no.
of some things. I know I'm putting you on the spot.
Yeah.
The cells in your body are not the same as it was.
Oh boy.
Now, Ella's dad is a scientist.
Oh.
Yeah.
Pretty sure that
That's
every
funny,
7
actually.
years your cells regenerate.
Well, fully.
Fully.
Your cells are always regenerating.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Thanks. All right. Another point lost. Okay. They're fully regenerated.
Fully, like every single cell in your body has been regenerated once every 7 years.
Can we ask your dad why I still have scars 7 years later? Do they just come
some
back?
fade.
It's in the heart. Is it in the
Some
hard
fade.
drive?
Have you not had scars that fade?
Is that from the 7-year thing?
I don't know.
Okay. Where's Luke? Okay. All right. Next, payphones. Not the same as it
Not
was.
the same as they were.
No.
Yeah, you used to use them to call people, but now you just use them to get scabies on your ear.
Oh, that's disgusting. Thanks, Frank. Same as it was actually. More depressingly, Ella, I'm sure you experienced it somewhat, at least from junior high to high school. The change in friendships,
Aw.
where suddenly things aren't the same as it was. I remember going from
Yikes.
grade 6 to grade 7 and suddenly feeling totally out of place. I brought this up before. I bring this up to most people I meet about my trouble from grade 6 to
You
grade
pretty
7.
much bring it up every single episode.
Yeah.
It must have been
exactly.
really traumatizing.
It was
for you, 'cause That was like,
traumatizing.
what, a lot of years ago?
That hurts. Thanks.
Well,
No,
I mean,
you're still
you're-
an old cool dude.
Yeah.
No, you're just not in grade 7.
33 years ago.
Oh, that's a long
Oh my
time.
goodness, that's an adult away.
Yikes.
That's a middle-aged adult away.
Yeah, 33 years. But still, I remember that what things were like in grade 6 to grade 7, suddenly things weren't the same as
Yeah.
it was.
Yeah, you couldn't wear track pants and be popular anymore.
Unbelievable. Yeah. And then it happens from grade 8 to grade 9 to some degree.
Yeah.
A
But you
lot.
find that later on for people we knew in our 20s, we go to all these weddings, and then 10 years later, things aren't the same as it was. Things are moving forward. You have to make your peace with it. As Harry did in the video where he does his big Singing in the Rain dance routine.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that like with the friendships, especially with my generation or like the people who are in high school right now with the cohorts, I had a lot of best friends who were in the other cohort than me. And then because of that, they made new friends there. I made new friends in my cohort. And it's like, we're all cohort B friends. And it kind of just stuck like that. And there's obviously times that I go back to those friends or whatever, and we're still friends, but it's just not the same as it was.
The same as it was.
Yeah.
Style is also not the same as it was, except it's coming back. Y2K fashion.
Oh,
It's
good.
on the rise.
Oh, fantastic.
Low rise jeans.
I can stop wearing skinny jeans.
Low rise jeans are
Skinny
coming back.
jeans is all I had. I was so skinny, they just look normal on me. I'm so depressed. Those
Skinny
big,
jeans are
stupid
not in
90s
anymore.
jeans are back.
Oh no.
That was a while ago.
Really?
Yeah, teenagers don't wear skinny jeans anymore.
What are they? You know what?
It's
I don't
baggy
know.
pants now.
Oh my god.
Baggy
But I'm a hip
jeans.
old man. I don't know this. Oh, what's wrong with me?
I think that you're not old, but I think that older men who are old enough to be dads can just wear like normal jeans.
This
I'm old
is-
enough to be a dad.
Yeah, so
Just
there you go.
So this is the tough part is that because when you're not in high school anymore, you don't grow out of clothes, so
Yeah.
you can hang on to a pair of jeans for
True.
15 years.
Yep.
And so I could miss an entire cycle of fashion easily.
Yep.
But I feel like that's okay. Fashion changes like every other minute. And so there's so many micro trends, especially with social media now. It's like TikTok made this popular, so now everyone's going to go buy it for $100. And then tomorrow there's going to be a new thing that's popular and no one's going to wear that again. So it's like just stick to your style that you actually like instead of following all these micro trends that are just causing bad economic issues.
That's
what
what I
we
like
should
to hear.
stick to is our Harry styles. Am I right,
You're-
guys?
Yeah, let's get back there.
I like the attack on capitalism, Ella.
I know,
You're in-
that
you're
was
in good company
fantastic.
here. That was great. Okay,
Noam Chomsky's going to be proud of this podcast.
that's right. Okay, so Hallmark movie as it was.
Okay, I've thought a lot about this.
Great.
It's more like Disney show.
Perfect.
Okay, so I have two variations. So it's like, as you said when we were talking about friendships, it's really interesting you brought that up. It's like, okay, like two best friends, they're growing up, they like plan to go to university, like they're inseparable. And then they both are graduating high school, of course, and they're both, one's going to the big city in like New York City, and someone else is going to Los Angeles. And then they're both like on a taxi, you know, like the like sad like look back to your home as they part ways. They're both like going opposite directions as they're parting ways, and then it's like a montage of their childhood things they did together, and then each of them doing their own separate things in their both big cities.
That's a pretty good movie.
Yeah.
I think that would make lots of money. And then it's like, it's not the same as it was.
Yeah.
And like as it like drowns out, they're like looking forward and they're like into their new world.
Is this the end or the beginning of the movie?
I don't know.
Oh, okay. I think it's a good ender.
I think it is a good ender.
So it's kind of like end of a friendship, but there's a positivity.
Yeah, and there can be like a sequel. It's
Okay.
Like, you know what I mean? It's showing their next steps.
Yeah. All right. Because I think a lot of the album could be in this. Yeah, the whole Harry's House
there
album.
could be music in a sushi restaurant.
That's right. Yeah, that's ideally set. A lot of this feels very cinematic. I
Yeah,
mean, they have a
exactly.
song called Cinema on it.
You got the cinema.
The movie I was thinking of was actually a movie that's already been made, but it's 500 Days of Summer.
Oh, okay.
Has that feel of it was something
Mhm.
and then it no longer was.
Mhm.
Also, I don't know if I hate that movie. I can't. I thought I liked it a lot, but I think I read myself into it too much,
Yeah.
and now I hate it for that, or I just think it's silly.
Yeah. I think if you are doing a movie on it, and what I kind of like about the song is it's not lamenting the way things were necessarily. Like, things aren't the same as they were or as it was, but like that's not necessarily always a bad thing, right? Because there is, like I said, there's an evolution of friendship and an evolution of like how you grow as a person and everything. And I don't know, I look back and things weren't the same as they were in my 20s, and I'm very thankful for that.
Okay, listen, you two. I know we often talk about mixtapes and we bring our own mixtapes. I'm not allowing you two to talk about a mixtape because I've come up with an awesome mixtape. This mixtape draws on the influences that made this album.
So from what I understand before we started recording is there's basically no room at the table.
There's
what
no
you're saying.
room at
It's
the
all for
table
you.
in
Perfect.
Harry's house. It's all on
It's
me.
all Belle.
Okay, get ready. This is a major playlist. It's longer than usual.
Yep.
Can't a mixtape only have like 10 songs on it?
Is
Or
that a
8?
rule?
Like
No.
on a
'cause-
cassette tape?
well, you have
On
two
an
sides.
actual mixtape?
Well, it depends. I mean, you could have like,
The 90 ones.
yeah, but you could have songs that like, there are songs that are 12 minutes long, and then there's also
Okay.
songs that are like 2 minutes.
Fair enough.
All right, here we go. First one is 1979, Paul McCartney, Arrows Through Me. He plays this song at his concerts before he goes on stage, so it's part of the mix.
Oh, okay.
So I'm going to play it now for you so you can hear part of it. Do you hear any? Do you kind of hear the what's the word you like to use? The texture.
The texture. Yeah. It kind of has that same feel, right?
Ooh, baby.
Okay.
Yeah.
This is a good
Yeah.
start.
Yeah.
It has got that soul, white
Yeah.
soul. It's like, so I was gonna say yacht rock, but this works better than yacht rock.
Yeah.
It's just like, he's so good. Paul McCartney. This is like throwaway Paul McCartney. This is killer.
But this is the good stuff.
Yeah, yeah,
The stuff that he was popular for. Like,
Yeah.
No, thank you.
yeah.
This is a good song.
So there you go. The new song for you. That's great. I mean, for us, new song for us. Next one is from the Talking Heads, 1979, I Zimbra. It opens an album that, well, when you hear this opening, it might sound familiar to you. Let's see here. Get ready. Here we go. There's some bit of Sushi in there.
Yeah, I can
I think-
feel that.
Okay, there we go. Talking
Are you going to
Heads.
play every single song?
I am going to do that. Next up is I Want to Be Your Lover by Prince.
Ain't got no money.
You heard that one, Ella? Yeah. Okay. All right. Just checking to see your pop culture know-how. Okay, next up. Give Me the Night, George Benson.
A little bit of
This is
scat.
scatty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like it.
This would be great. Just hit
Take that bass for a walk.
Totally. All right. Next up.
10 hours later.
Yeah, get ready. Rick James. Ready for Rick James? Rick James. This one. I'm going to let it play for a while, just so you guys can hear it. To enjoy it.
We're talking about a walk in Vegas.
Oh my goodness, this sounds so much like the one.
Sushi, right? With the horn breakdown.
Yeah.
Just move it along a bit.
It's a good song.
There it is. Oh,
Yeah.
man. You just...
That's so similar.
I can't believe it.
That's so similar.
Okay, I'm very proud of that one. I heard someone else mention it, but I found that song. Okay, do I do Stevie Wonder?
When I hear you on the phone, your sweet, sexy voice turns my ear all the way on.
It's got that feel.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay, don't worry. We got more. Okay?
I'm not worried.
Yeah. Aha. But not Take On Me. I picked
Yeah.
a different song.
Uh-huh. Do, uh-huh.
Not that one. From the band Aha, Chris Newkirk shared this song with me. So this is for you, Chris Newkirk. This sounds so good. I don't know if it fits, but it's such a good song.
I like it, yeah.
The feel. And
I
it's,
think it works.
and so when you mention Aha, let's get to the chorus. This is such a good song. Can't say enough about it. Okay. Then Sledgehammer, Peter Gabriel.
Okay, yeah.
And then I threw in, so that got from 79 to 86. Then I just jumped right to like 2007, Electric Feel by MGMT.
Okay, yeah.
Not sure.
No, it's all the same vibe.
Yeah.
Yeah, it could all be on like the same album.
The Harry Styles album has a very like heavy synth pop sort of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very synthy.
Yeah. So that is a killer mixtape, if I may say so. I don't need.
Not the pat.
You don't need.
Throw 'em back.
Yeah, just like Harry Styles, no longer needs the sort of crowd. To
You know
tell him
what?
he's doing.
I'm kind of upset that Ella didn't do a mixtape because put you and her in the ring again and see who comes out on top. Because she's got you beat so far.
Yeah,
I think that's
and-
why you only told me about it today. So
Yeah.
I had time
Oh, yeah, I made a point
to figure it out.
It was a big setup.
Yeah,
I was so proud of my mixtape.
it's a very good mixtape.
Thank you.
Good.
Thank
Good
you.
job.
Whew. Okay. Well, next category, Frank.
So the big one is, and we're gonna let Ella answer this one. Could Michael Bolton sing this song? We're just gonna do as it was. We're assuming that you've done some a deep dive and a lot of research onto Michael Bolton's entire catalog.
The answer is no, because I think he could sing it.
Your answer is wrong.
I think he could sing it. Like, his voice could sing it just as I could sing it. But I feel like,
He shouldn't sing, is what you're
yes, I think he shouldn't sing it.
So you're saying it wouldn't be what it was.
As
It
is.
would not
Yeah.
be the same as
Would-
it was
yeah,
if
yeah.
Michael Bolton.
Now, if Michael Bolton were to sing this, at what point would the world be destroyed while he was singing?
In a good way or a bad way?
The world, no,
Is there a
destroyed.
good way that the world's destroyed?
Like, oh my gosh, that's so amazing.
Oh,
The world should now
earth-shattering.
be destroyed. Yeah.
Okay. No, I think we're going for like Ender of Worlds.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's tough because the chorus is usually where it happens, right?
Yeah.
But it's so reserved. I think maybe in the bridge
Yeah.
might go after it.
Yeah. When the two kids leave America, he
Yeah.
doesn't just leave America, he destroys America.
Yes.
But I also want to make mention, like, we talk about Michael Bolton quite a bit, and it may seem as if we're kind of poking fun at him, but I would think that Michael Bolton would be the patron saint of guilt-free pleasures.
Oh, yes.
Like,
And also the gargoyle that guards our church.
I'm trying to throw an olive branch out to the man, and like, because we kind of make fun of him a little bit, but his voice is just so powerful.
It is. No, his voice is amazing.
Yeah.
No, we're going to be featuring Michael Bolton soon, and
Yeah.
we'll be giving him all the love.
Yeah.
And more.
Yeah. Okay, good.
Okay. Did you watch the Coachella performance?
There's two.
No, I did not.
Yeah, there's two. It's like, why do you do it again? I guess that's how they do things. Because once you bring out Shania Twain, it's like,
Oh
what?
yeah, I
my
heard that
goodness.
she
I
did,
can't
yeah.
even. It was earth-shattering.
Okay.
It was
Did that end your world?
that ended my world in a good way.
Okay, so this is Shania Twain, Ender of Worlds.
Yeah.
He like came out in that jumpsuit, like sparkly, like the low U-neck kind of.
Okay.
Everyone was like, "Oh my gosh, like this is crazy." Everyone was freaking out. It was great. He looked amazing. Anyways, and then he's like singing or whatever, and he stops and it's like ba-na, na, 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 and then she like pops out of the stage.
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
Literally, my jaw like on the floor. I was like, "You're joking me." Anyways, then they sung that song, and then they sung
Still the one.
"Still the One,"
Oh, really?
and
Yeah.
he sung that before at concerts. He's
Yeah.
covered it a lot of times.
Yeah.
With, like he sung it with Casey
Musgraves.
Musgraves before, and he sung it on his own before. Like he loves that song. And then she was on here, and she's wearing a matching jumpsuit. I was
That's
freaking out.
awesome. I
It was really
I have
great.
to check that out.
It was very good, and there's a like full HD video too because it was like professionally filmed by Coachella.
Yeah.
I can't get my hands on it because it was like you could watch the full performance
YouTube
like
Live.
the day after.
Yeah.
But right today I couldn't catch it except for fan videos, which I
Huh.
did not appreciate.
Yeah.
But yeah, the Coachella they only gave As It Was, which was the first time it was sang live.
Yeah.
And the crowd was crazy for it.
Oh,
it was
yeah.
crazy.
Okay.
I mean, it's Harry Styles.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And One Night Only, which he did a few months ago, was supposed to be incredible. And he
Yeah.
did his set and ended with, I think it was Kiwi was the last song.
Yeah.
But then just as he was leaving, he changed his mind, turned around, went back on stage and sang As It Was again.
Oh, okay. Cool.
Even though he'd already done it, he
Literally,
just wanted to do it
getting
again.
tickets to One Night Only was like bloodshed. It was like, oh, it was a battle.
Ella, we want to thank you for being here on the podcast. This was fantastic.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, it's been very different. A new song, a popular song outside of our box. And I just hope that when we get back into further recordings that maybe it will be the same as it was.